So let us start today's session. In last session, we have discussed different types of sensors, which are very much useful for IoT applications. Quickly, I will go through that, and then after we will continue the sessions. So these are the points we discussed during our last session. Am I audible and all the slides are visible? Is there any difficulty or everything is fine? In semester 5th, actually, I appointed one student as a coordinator of the class to give me the feedback about the sessions which is going on. So in your class, I will appoint Jani. So Jani will give me the feedback that whether, am I audible and everything is okay, slides are visible. So Jani, is it everything is fine? Or if anyone, if other students want to take responsibility, then also it's fine. It seems that I am not audible. Okay. No one was answering, so I thought that there is some problem. Okay. These are the sensors we discussed during our last session. Load cell amplifiers, I think from here we stopped our discussion. So load cell amplifier is required because the output from the bridge will be in millivolts, and sometimes we require a because we need to convert that into digital signal with help of a ADC, which is a 24-bit ADC. So this HX71 is a module which will amplify as well as it will convert your signal, load cell signal, into digital signal with help of a 24-bit analog to digital converter. So this is very useful for a weighing scale design, because it requires more accuracy, particularly whenever you want to weight a gold or a silver. Then in such weighing scale, you require more accuracy. So for that, 24-bit analog to digital converters are very useful. Then it has an input multiplexer to select channel A or B differential input. And let me connect this digitizer so that we can. So this has a channel A and B here. You can see both visible here. A and B channels. So you can select any channel with help of the multiplexer inside it. And channel A can be programmed with a gain of 128 or 64. So it can programmable gain is also provided with that. And differential input, it can operate with a plus or minus 20 millivolt or plus or minus 40 millivolt respectively. So if input is 40 millivolt full scale input, then normally we set the gain 64. And if the input is a 20 millivolt full scale input, then it is set to 128. And when a plus 5 volt is connected to this voltage pin, VDD, that is analog power supply pin. And this is very useful module whenever we are connecting strain gauge to measure the weight. Then water level sensors is very popular. Some of you must have used in your projects. It has a different strips are there, which are actually conductive strips. And there are some power traces, like these are the power traces, which is shown with the blue color. These are the power traces. Oh, these are the power traces, right? And in between there are sensor traces. So this which is shown in the green color is these are the sensor traces. So that there is any humidity or any water is there, the conductivity you will get, and that conductivity will be available as a signal to you. So ultimately, we are providing plus 5 volt like this, And here, whenever you will get the conductivity, here you will get a variable resistance here, and you will get a different voltage at the voltage divider bias. So if there is no water, if there is a dry, then this will act as a open, and you will get a plus 5 volt. And whenever there is a water is there, you will get a 0 volt. And in between some moisture is there, then you will get in between the voltages. So voltage level depends on how much humidity is there here. Okay. So when you insert that into, you can also insert this into a soil to measure the humidity in the soil. So for agriculture purpose, for automatic liquid level control, all such applications, this water level sensor is very, very useful. Then with the same concept, there is a soil moisture sensor is also available, where two strips are there. So there are two probes, and in between there will be a soil and the conductivity. Based on the conductivity of the soil, you will get the signal at the output. So signal pin will give you a water sensor output. So there are only 3 pins you can see here: VCC, then A0, where you will get a variable analog voltage, and ground. Now, sometimes you require only decision that for digital data, whether there is a water or dry condition or a wet condition, then you can also use this D0 pin, which will provide you a digital data directly, D0 pin. So whether the content between these two probe is a dry or wet, depending on that, you will get the signal at this D0 pin. And if you want how much dryness is there, how much wet it is, then you can also consider this A0 pin. So both the pins are available, analog pin as well as digital pin. So this soil moisture sensor is also very popular for agriculture applications. Then vibration sensors. This is very much useful. Suppose in R&B is constructing some highway, and then that highway should not have much vibrations in that. So in a car, you can put a vibration sensor device. In previous days, people were putting a glass of water, so while driving a car, that glass water should not come out from that glass. That was the condition. Nowadays, it is replaced by equipments which is using the vibration sensors. So vibration sensor module is based on vibration sensor SW420, is very popular again. And inside that, comparator LM393 is used to detect the vibrations. The threshold can be adjusted using onboard potentiometer. So there are onboard potentiometers also given, which you can use to adjust the threshold value. During no vibrations, the sensor provides logic low signal. And whenever the vibration is detected, the sensor will provide the logical high signal. So this vibration sensors also you can use in your some of the projects. For earthquake detection also, we can use this vibration sensor. Smoke sensor, some of you must have used in your mini projects or micro projects somewhere. This is a gas sensor basically, and this MQ2 smoke sensor is very much sensitive to smoke, and it has a effect of following gases will be there to sense provide the sensing signal like LPG, butane, propane, methane, alcohol, hydrogen. And the resistance of the sensor is a different. It depends on the type of gas which you are sensing. The smoke sensor is also having a built-in potentiometer, and it allows to adjust the sensor sensitivity according to how accurate you want to detect the gas. So basically in a kitchen, actually, you should keep less sensitivity. Otherwise, whenever in a kitchen, if you are preparing some food item, then also it will sense, and then it will say that, okay, there is a fire. Okay, so you can sense it like that also. So you can adjust the sensitivity help of such potentiometer. So most of such sensor modules are having a potentiometer preset inside it, which you can adjust with help of a screwdriver to adjust the sensitivity depending on the required application. In office, actually, we keep more sensitivity because in office, there is possibility of smoke is very less. પણ એ કન્ડિશન છે કે કોઈ ધૂમ્રપાન નથી કરતું ત્યાં. So you can also consider whenever, you know, in a public places where smoking is prohibited, you can also put the smoking sensor that if somebody is smoking, then it will give the alarm to persons who are there. So for various applications, you can use it for a safety purpose, for a gas leakage. In nowadays in automobile also there are different gases people are using in a car, CNG, LPG. So in that also you can use this type of sensors and prepare small applications based on the IoT. At home also, and in your kitchen you can use so that whenever there is a LPG leakage or some problem is there, it will energize the alarm. Various some smoke sensors are there. Different models are available. MQ8 is very much useful for a hydrogen coal gas. MQ9B is useful for carbon monoxide. MQ2 is useful flammable gas or smoke. MQ5 is for liquefied petroleum gas, methane, coal gas, etc. MQ135 is useful for ammonia sulfide. MQ3B is useful for alcohol. That means if you want to prepare a project where it will prevent driver who is already drunk to prevent the driving, then you can use MQ3B. So you can prepare some application that way. If you know driver is drunk, then the vehicle will not start. So it will stop the engine automatically. So for such application, MQ3B is very useful. MQ7B carbon monoxide, MQ4 natural gas, methane. So for automobile applications, you can use this natural gas also. Flammable gas or smoke. So for a smoke detection, MQ2 is useful. MQ6 liquefied. Again, it's liquefied petroleum gas, isobutane, propane. Then MQ5 is also useful for liquefied petroleum gas, methane, coal gas, etc. And MQ7 is useful for carbon monoxide. So different models are available for a smoke sensor or a gas sensor. Then all of you have already studied the LDR, light dependent register, which was basically it sends the light, and then based on intensity of light it provides the output, right? The resistance will change. So if we bias like this, +5 if you give here, then we get here variable voltage at the output, right? All of you have already studied the LDR. But here you require ADC after these to convert that into a digital signal. So we have a BH1750 digital light sensor available, where it will convert light signal into digital signal internally and provides you digital data output. And output of this sensor is lux. So that's output is in a unit of output is a lux, and so it doesn't require any further calculations. Here you require a lot of calculations after this, right? This sensor uses I2C communication, inter-integrated circuit communication. That means it has a SDA pin and SCL pin. SDA means serial data, and SDA means SCL means serial clock. So these are the serial output from this, and one pin is a VCC pin and one is ground pin. Address pin is also given here so that you can connect multiple devices with help of single lines. So it uses I2C communication, hence it has a SDL, SDA and SCL, sorry, here SCL pins. Okay. So various sensors are there. So I am giving you one exercise that you Google different types of sensors and prepare report about the sensors used in IoT, right? So you can take it as exercise, sensors for IoT, and you can also submit it as a part of term work or as an assignment to us, right? So search different sensors, try to find out the specifications, and try to use all these sensors in some micro projects which you will be preparing. So there are many sensors are available, like gas sense, color sensor, gas sensor, LDR, thermistor, ultrasonic sensor, soil moisture sensor, gyroscope, humidity, phototransistor, touch sensor, IR sensor, reflective type, IR sensor, transmittive type, heartbeat sensor, rain sensor, PIR sensor, alcohol sensor. So many sensors are available. So try to use these all sensors in your maybe one or two sensors in your micro project. Water flow sensor is there, right? First of all, prepare a report and then use out of all these sensors, use one or two sensors in your micro project. Then we will be discussing. So basically, this chapter is having the sensors and then IoT devices like embedded hardware, and then after the actuators. So let's look at the IoT devices. We have so many IoT devices available. This is a Jetson Nano board, very famous for IoT applications. This is a Node MCU. Today I will demonstrate that. This is ESP32. It is having a Bluetooth device inbuilt. So only the difference between these two devices is that it is having a Bluetooth also simultaneously along with the Wi-Fi. This is a Zigbee device, Zigbee module, which you can interface with separately with a Node MCU. And if you have an Arduino board and you want to convert that into Node MCU board, you can connect this ESP8266 module with that. So this is a Wi-Fi module available, which you can connect with Arduino board to give the Wi-Fi connectivity to the Arduino board. You can also use this Bluetooth module. Professor Rahul Mehta just was discussing in a lecture before this, that level 1 applications where you can use this Wi-Fi and this Bluetooth device for level 1 IoT applications. Then this is a LoRaWAN, which gives more distance, right? So LoRaWAN module is very, very useful nowadays. So basically, it provides you WiMAX actually. So more distance it can communicate compared to the Wi-Fi. Raspberry Pi, this we will discuss during the next lecture. Today we will be focusing on the Node MCU. Then NetDuino and then BeagleBoard. These are all embedded hardware is available. You can use any one hardware to prepare your micro project or a mini project. Hardware of your choice, right? So there are different hardwares are available, different sensors are available. These are the few more sensors here. This is a door sensor. So whenever a door is closer to this, the sensor will provide you active low signal. Otherwise, normally it will be active high. PIR motion sensor, capacitive touch sensor, then digital humidity and temperature sensor, DHT sensor. So these are the few more sensors available which you can use for your project work. Light sensor, LDR, and then signal conditioning device is given here. Flex sensor, accelerometer, then camera also you can connect with a Raspberry Pi. Camera is also a very good sensor, right? So visual sensor, and this is ultrasonic sensor. So all this basically what we want to do here is IoT components and implementation. So we have a sensors, we have a hardware devices, we have actuators. Now our job is to combine everything and prepare IoT application. Right? So now let's start with a Node MCU. The brief about the Node MCU already we have given during whenever you are in semester 5th. In a Python programming, those who opted for the Python, there was the last chapter was a MicroPython. In that, I demonstrated you the Node MCU. Basically, it has a Wi-Fi support and 2.4 gigahertz is the communication frequency, which is license-free band is useful for communication. It has a 1 analog input, so it has a 10-bit integrated ADC available inside the Node MCU. It has a 13 digital I/O pins, and it has also alternate functions. Of course, UART, I2C, SPI, alternate functions are there. It has a micro USB port for a power, programming, and debugging purpose. And this is pin diagram of Node MCU. Where only you have to notice here is that whenever it's written D0 in a program, we write the number specified by GPIO. So even whenever you write in a program the 16 number, that 16 number doesn't mean a pin number 16, right? But it is a D0 pin, right? So the D0 is mapped with GPIO 16, D1 is mapped with GPIO 5. So while writing a program, we will refer this pin number, this number 5. D2 means GPIO 4, So in a program, if you want to send a signal to D2 pin, we will write 4 there. We will not write 2 there, right? So that's only you have to take care. Otherwise, if everything will be okay, then your program will not work. Okay. So this is a pin diagram, which you have to refer whenever you are making a hardware connections. And this node MCU operates at 3.3 volt. And we will be using Arduino IDE to program the node MCU, and all of you are very much familiar with the Arduino IDE, so it's not new for you. Now, suppose if you have a Arduino Uno card with you and you don't want to purchase the node MCU, then you can use this ESP8266 module. It's a very small module available, which you can interface with the Arduino board to give the Wi-Fi connectivity, because we want to use this Arduino board for a IoT applications. Then you have to connect this. Right? So this has a different pins. Connector is available here. The TX you have to connect with any one pin of Arduino, which if you are using a virtual serial port, then you can use any pin. Otherwise, this TX you have to connect with a RX pin. Right. I was using actually virtual serial port, so I have connected with it pin number 2 and 3. Otherwise, you can also connect this with a RX pin of your Arduino board. And RX of this ESP8266 module, you have to connect with a other pin. So this pin number 2, you have to make as a TX pin, right? So it will be kind of a cross connection. So this will be your RXD and this will be your TXD. So you can also connect this with this TX and RX, no problem, right? You can connect here. So cross connections you will make between the transmit data and receive data pin. And here you require a voltage divider bias, because Arduino operates at +5 volt and this is operating at 3.3 volts. So you cannot give here whenever you are receiving a data, you cannot give a data with a +5 volt and 0 volt. You have to give a data less than 3.3 volts. So that's why this voltage divider is very useful. So when you use here 1K, automatically you will get here a 2.5 volt, and 2.5 volt will be considered as a logic 1, right? You can also use, instead of 1K, you can also use as a 1.2K, no problem, right? You can go up to 1.5K, but not more than 1.5K. Otherwise, voltage will increase and then it can damage your Wi-Fi module. So this combination of this Arduino and this Wi-Fi module will act similar to Node MCU, right? So these are another alternative arrangement which you can use. Necessary steps for installation. So if you want to use Arduino IDE to program the Node MCU, then this is extra things you require. You have to go to Files and Preferences. And into the Preferences window, you have to paste following line. This is the line which you have to copy and paste there. And then after, you have to go to the board manager, and then you have to install the ESP8266 in that. Okay, so I will just show you that in Arduino board, Arduino actually IDE. So in a file menu, is it visible, this Arduino IDE, or it's not visible? Just give me feedback.
Visible, sir.
Visible, okay. So in preferences, here you have to copy that JSON path. If you copy it here, then there's Node MCU board will be available. Otherwise, it will not be available in this board in the package. So in board manager, it will be available there. Otherwise, it will not be available, right? So in board manager, you have to type here. So when you start the board manager, it will initially download the index value. So that's why it will take some time. Then ESP8266, and when you write it, if it is already installed, you will get here that it is already installed. If it is not installed, then you will get here install button, and then just click on that and you will be able to install the Node MCU support for the Arduino board. And then after, once you do that, then after you have to select that board from the tools menu. So there are different boards are given. So last year in semester 5th, and you have used Arduino Nano and Uno. And in this case, you have to select the Node MCU board, right? Node MCU 1.0 ESP12E module. There are various IoT devices are there. You can select whatever the hardware you are using, depending on your hardware, you can select the device. At present, I will be showing you the Node MCU. So I am selecting Node MCU here, right? So this is actually modification required in existing Arduino IDE. So by default, Node MCU will not be available. You have to do all these settings before you use the Node MCU with the Arduino IDE. Is it clear? Okay. Important functions, all of you already studied the setup and loop. These are the two important functions are there in Arduino. And this is a very basic hello world program to test your Node MCU board initially. So normally a internal LED is connected with GPIO2 pin, which is your D4 pin. So we are writing LED pin equal to 2 here. And then we are declaring that as an output. And then after just we are toggling it, we are making on and off here. So when you upload this program into Node MCU, your internal LED should blink. So if it is blinking, that means your Node MCU is okay. Then if you want to read the sensor data, so I am showing here only one LDR sensor, but whatever the sensors we discuss, you can use all that sensors and you can connect that to A0 pin of your Node MCU. And then to read the data from the sensors, you can write this sample program. So light data is equal to analog read and then light pin. So light pin is here 0 because we are using A0 pin. So that's why it is 0. And then you can also on a serial monitor, you can print the data, sensor data. If the sensor data is greater than certain threshold, you can make the device on. And if it is less than certain threshold, you can make the device off. So this simple program you can use to read the sensor data, and based on the sensor data, you can take some actions. So this is using a local embedded hardware. Here we have not added any IoT part here, right? It's just simply locally we are reading the sensor and we are actuating the output, right? So if you want to include the IoT part, then let's start with a very basic Bluetooth, right? Says Professor Adi Mehta was talking about level 1, where we are not using any internet, right? So we use only a local link. So basically we are using here, we can say personal area network, WPAN. So that is the link we are using, right? So your mobile applications will be there, which will be running, which will be sending the Bluetooth signal. And then at the receiving side, you will receive the Bluetooth signal, and based on the received data, you will take action. So I will try to demonstrate here this link and its operation. I will show you this setup. This is the Node MCU board. It's visible to all of you. Node MCU board. And this is a Bluetooth module. The Bluetooth module. So just I have connected 4 wires from a Bluetooth module. This Node MCU board. And the connection is already shown in this PPT. So I will minimize this. So the same connection is given here. You can see that RxD is connected to TXD, and TXD is connected to RxD. VCC is connected to 3.3 volt, and ground is connected to the ground pin. So this is what the connection is there. Right? Now I will show you the program which is written for this application. So in this program, actually, initially in a comment section, the connections are given, so that whenever you want to execute this program, you will come to know, okay, I have to do the connection like this. So it's a good practice that in your comment section, you should write all the connection details. Right? Basically, we are trying to control the devices with help of a Bluetooth link, with help of a mobile application. So just for a simplicity, I am using a RGB LED, but always you can connect the electrical devices with help of a relay, which is actuator for IoT applications. In next lecture, I will show you the different types of actuators, in which I will also show you how to interface the actuators with Node MCU. But here, for just simplicity, I am using the RGB LED, and the LEDs are connected with GPIO 4, GPIO 5, and GPIO 2, which is the internal LED. So GPIO 4 is basically pin number D2, where I have connected blue LED. GPIO 5 is basically pin D1, where I have connected the red LED. And the GPIO 12 is pin number D6, where I have connected the green LED. And I am using serial monitor because locally I want to monitor serially what is going on. Then I am using serial mode with a 9600 baud rate. Then pin mode, all the pins I am declaring as an output pin because all the LEDs are output device. So pin mode is output. If there are digital sensors are there, then normally we call it as an input device. So in that case, we will be declaring that those pins as an input pins. So here we have not connected any sensor, so all the pins will be output pin. And then initially we send low signal so that initially all LED remains off. Then we are just reading the data from the Bluetooth, and if the data is R, then we want to turn on the red LED. So we are sending data from the mobile application. So I will show you that mobile application here. So this is our mobile application. Is it visible, that MIT App Inventor screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in mobile application, there is red LED, blue LED, green LED. There's 3 LEDs are there. And if I look at the code actually in a blocks, the code is written in such a way that whenever I am clicking on the red LED button, it will send the R signal. You can see here I'm sending here R. We can also change this depending on our requirement. And whenever I am clicking on the green LED, it will send Z. And this is actually block which will connect our Bluetooth with a Node MCU devices, right? So it will identify the Bluetooth module and then it will connect with our mobile phone. So this is actually a block for that purpose. I have uploaded this APK on a team, so you can download this APK and install it in your mobile phone. So if you want to practice at home, you can download APK and install it in your mobile phone. Similarly, for a when blue LED click, we are sending B. So actually, we are sending R, G, and B from the mobile app, right? And then in a program, we are using the same thing. So if we are getting R from that Bluetooth link, we will glow the red LED. If we get G from the mobile application, then we will glow the green LED. And whenever we receive B, then we will glow the blue LED. So that is a very simple program. I will upload this program into the Node MCU. So COM3 where Node MCU is connected, and then just I will click on this upload button. Okay. So let me switch on my mobile phone and then we'll show you that. You can also do with help of an emulator. If you don't want to install in your mobile phone, then in an MIT App Inventor, there is emulator is also there. So I have installed that application into There are so many applications I have installed in my mobile phone. Some of I think I have to uninstall many of them because a lot of applications are it's very difficult to search. Okay. So my application will look like this, where red LED, blue LED, green LED buttons are given. And below that, there is a Bluetooth link icon is visible. So just I have to click on that icon so to connect with a Bluetooth. And then when I click on that icon, I will get a different Bluetooth devices on that. The first device is now at present on, so I will click on that to connect with the. Now you'll get it. It's connected message here. You can see that GEC Rajkot EC department below that it is written connected. So once it's connected, it will give the message that it is connected. Then the corresponding LED will turn on. Red, blue, and green. So this mobile is basically sending whenever I'm clicking on the red LED button, it will send R. Where there is no internet requirement is there. So, but this is useful for home automation applications because the distance of Bluetooth is very limited. Then another one is you can use smartphone. You can use smart any. That is again available. We are not using any internet here. કોઈનું કદાચ માઇક્રોફોન ચાલુ છે એટલે ફીડબેક આવે છે મારો અવાજ આવે છે કોઈનું માઇક્રોફોન ચાલુ હોય તો બંધ કરી દેજો પછી શું છે તમારા સ્પીકરમાંથી માઇક્રોફોનમાં ફીડબેક જાય છે ને એના કારણે let me check whose microphone is on. So in Wi-Fi, actually, you don't require any Bluetooth devices, right? So your Wi-Fi within campus, you can, so you'll get a more distance, basically. That is the advantage in Wi-Fi. And in this case, if you, here I require to connect a Bluetooth module externally, but suppose if you purchase ESP32, then ESP32 module Bluetooth is inbuilt. So in that case, you don't require to connect externally this type of a Bluetooth module. Okay. So in a Wi-Fi link, actually, there is another application, right, where you have to enter here the IP address, and then after you can use this application to control the devices which is connected with the Node MCU. So I will try to demonstrate that here. Device control with help of a Wi-Fi. Device control app with Wi-Fi. So I will now I don't require this Bluetooth module. So I will remove this Bluetooth module from a Node MCU because in a Wi-Fi is internally available, so I don't require it. So again, the red, blue, and green LED connections are same as previous one. Instead of using Bluetooth, we are using Wi-Fi. So I am including this header file ESP8266 Wi-Fi.h. I am using a client object from the Wi-Fi client class, then server, and then I am using this SSID and password. So you have to change this SSID and password depending on the Wi-Fi connectivity available with you. If you are using mobile hotspot, and then that SSID and password you have to specify here. This is very much similar as previous program, just we are declaring all this as an output pin, very much similar to previous one. Then we are calling the function connect Wi-Fi. Then we begin the server. Okay. So when we connect, we call the function connect Wi-Fi, it will connect with the Wi-Fi. So here you can see it's just I will upload this program, and then it will look at the serial monitor. So whatever the activity I am doing here, is it visible to all or not?
Yes, sir, visible.
So at present, it is writing this program to the Node MCU. 7% is completed. So now done uploading means it has uploaded the things. Now I will just see. The baud rate we use here. So 15200, that is the baud rate. Okay. Now you can see that it was displaying some dot dot dot, which is written in the program. ત્યાં સુધી વાઈફાઈ કનેક્ટ નહીં થાય ત્યાં સુધી એ ડોટ ડોટ ડિસ્પ્લે કરશે જેવું કનેક્ટ થઈ જશે એટલે આ મેસેજ આવી જશે વાઈફાઈ કનેક્ટેડ મેસેજ આવી જશે. My Wi-Fi connected node MCU local IP is this. So this is a local IP. And this IP you have to insert in your mobile application. So I will show you that mobile application here. That IP you have to enter here, right, at this point. And then you will be able to use this mobile APK. So I am also uploading this APK to your team. So what I will do, I will build and give the option save APK to my computer. And here also there is an option called if you don't want to download it into your PC, then there is also option to it will give you a QR code. That QR code you can scan with your mobile phone. In that case, this APK will be downloaded into your mobile phone. Okay, so in this case, this is the mobile application and this is your Node MCU board. In between there is a Wi-Fi link. But here we are again not using any internet, any cloud. So it is only a local application, right? So again, it's level 1 kind of a thing. We are not using any cloud here. So in your micro project or a mini project, you have to modify this layout and you have to put, instead of LEDs, you can put here some devices and you control those devices with help of a Wi-Fi link. And I'm sure that you will be able to do it at home. How many of you have purchased the Node MCU or any other hardware to perform the experiments? Can you just raise your hand? Out of 64, very few students have purchased the hardware. Actually, you should purchase the hardware and do different experiments at home. From 15th July, offline classes may start. So one link is shared with all of you. Those who want to attend the offline class, they can come to college. But the parent consent is very important. You have to take consent of your parent. And then vaccination is important. So you should produce the vaccination certificate. And then you have to maintain the social distance. And it's not compulsory. Online classes will be still continue. So if you want to attend the online, you can continue online classes. Otherwise, if you want to visit the laboratory, then offline is also, but the conditions are also mentioned in that file. If you are fulfilling all that conditions, you can visit the college to attend the offline classes or laboratory. So this is actually device control with help of Android. Nowadays, MIT also supports that platform, iOS and all that. Device control with help of a web app. Web app means where your program or your Node MCU will work as a server, and then let me show you that. I'm in Arduino board. That ID itself. Control device control using web page Node MCU. Let me change this so that you know. So actually admin, and I will change this password. GCR at So this is the Wi-Fi at present I am using. So I will upload this program. So this is the entire HTML code which is written, and you have studied that during your web technology course last semester. So web technology course will be useful to you for these IoT applications. Let me use this program because in this I have used the serial monitor. So this program. I will upload it again. So I will upload this all Arduino program into your team. You can download it, modify it, and use it for your project work. So at present, it is uploading this program to NodeMCU board. Now done uploading. Now let's see whether at which IP it is using. So at present, it is trying to connect. So it's showing dot. Let me check whether I have given the correct password. GCR is correct. And it has connected. And as you can see here, the IP address is displayed here. So just I will copy this IP address and then we'll paste it into the Google browser. So again, this is a local application level 1 IoT applications, but here we are not using mobile app, but we are using a web app. So this type of screen you will get, and from here you can turn on and off your devices. So you can change this menu as per the requirement. You can always change this menu. So this is a web app. So this page is being broadcasted by NodeMCU. So and that for that purpose, actually, this code is written here. So this is the HTML code, and you will be able to understand this HTML code because already you have studied the web technology course last year. So you will be able to understand this code. That it is basically sending the request. We are basically sending the request light on, and when it will be that request is received, then it will turn on the device. And when light off, it will turn off the devices. Because we are making this pin 12 number high, that means we are making the device on. We are making this pin number 12 low, that means we are making the device off. And similarly for all others. So different commands are written here. So this is the command basically we are using. So it is basically broadcasting this entire HTML web page. And whenever we say that, whenever we press here, the turn on, then light on will be transmitted to the NodeMCU. It will receive it. And then it will perceive that, okay, it is the command for turning on the light, and light is connected at pin number 12. Then it will make that pin high. So that is the logic behind it. Any doubt, any questions? Otherwise, we will stop here, and then next time we will discuss the Raspberry Pi programming.